how are ya? Alyssa here from Southern Maryland Vegan Events, and I am with you once again to do another quick and easy lunch series video. And so I'm only going to do one today because I think doing two is just kind of getting a bit too much going on, and I'm leaving out a couple of ingredients. I mean, they're not critical, but there are a couple things that I wish that I would have included or added as add-ons and stuff. So for the sake of trying to remember things and keeping it easier for you guys to follow along, I'm just gonna do one today. And this one looks kind of complicated, but I promise you it isn't, because all of the ingredients should be pantry staples anyways that you likely already have or may need to pick up to include on hand. So this is all stuff that I have, and I just decided to pull it all out. And I actually made a recipe card for this one a few years ago, and so I'll share that in a separate post on the Southern Maryland Vegan Restaurant Week page. But I'll show you today in a video how to make it, because it's really, really good, and it's super yummy. So super simple. So let's get started. And this is going to be a sesame, zucchini, and squash noodles. Or zoodles. So instead of using regular pasta noodles, which you can, we are going to make noodles or zoodles out of zucchini and squash, summer squash. So this is really common and popular, so you may already or likely already know about this, because you can actually buy them already made up. But since it's summer squash and zucchini season and all of that stuff is abundantly found locally, hopefully at this point, then I want to show you just to do it at home if you have a chance. So I have just a plain generic spiralizer. So if you happen to have one, fantastic. You already know how to do this anyway. But if not, they're found online everywhere. I think I got this off of Amazon a few years ago. So, and if you don't, no problem, because you can just chop up your vegetables and they don't have to be spiralized. They don't have to be in the form of noodles. So that's okay too. But that's what we're gonna do today. And so grab 1 or 2 zucchini and summer squash. I already made some zoodles already, just for the sake of trying to speed it up. But what you're gonna do is you're just gonna chop off each end, put that in your spiralizer, and then just crank out those zoodles. And so it makes a lot, and I am just gonna go ahead and throw these into my batch that I've already made. So you can do as much as you want. For this recipe, I usually do usually about 2 zucchini and 2 summer squash, depending on how big they are. So I'll probably do zoodle up the rest of these, spiralize the rest of these up, and add them to the bowl. But for the sake of today and moving along, I'm gonna go with that for now. So you're gonna throw these into a big bowl. Then you are going to add your carrots, which I take about 2 to 3, 4 medium-sized smaller carrots, and grate those up, and then just add them into your zoodles. I already did a bunch just to already have on hand, but and these can be as grated or not grated as you want. Sometimes I get lazy with it and I just like to chop them up and not have to worry about doing this, but you can do that if you want to, no big deal. There is no perfection required for any type of animal-free dish. So I throw all of that into the bowl, and then I'm gonna get this stuff out of the way because we don't need it anymore. And then grab your blender or your food processor. For this, I kind of prefer to use the blender just because I'm going to be pouring the sauce, and I'm probably going to be making more sauce as well, so I can just throw this in the refrigerator too. So for the sauce, or for the dressing, for the sesame dressing, and I love this recipe because it has just a bunch of different, you know, ethnic bold flavors, and kind of changes up your day-to-day routine sometimes, or perhaps, and gives you something new to work with and try and taste. So it's really awesome. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make the sauce, and we are gonna throw about a cup of peanut butter into, let me grab another spoon in here. And with this, I like to make extra, so I'm not really picky about making sure that it's an exact, did I say a cup? I meant to say a half cup. I'm sorry about that. A half cup, but you can do a whole cup and then just double everything else if you want. It works perfectly. Like I said, I like to make extra sauces and double every recipe I'm doing anyways, because hey, that's one less thing you gotta make and cook and prep and spend time in the kitchen, as much as I love to do it, but I would rather make extra, and then that's one less thing you gotta do. So if you don't want to use peanut butter, you don't have to use peanut butter. I often use or if you have a peanut allergy or nut allergy, I like to use sunflower seed butter. That works beautifully too. You can also use, if you want to use cashew butter, I've used that as well. So these all work. I just happen to have some peanut butter on hand, so I'm going to do that today. And then, okay, everything else we're going to do. I know this recipe so well, but at the same time, I don't want to forget anything for you guys, so I'm sorry I'm reading this time. So we're going to do 3 tablespoons, or about 3 tablespoons of rice vinegar. And 1, 2, 3. I'm probably going to go back and add another tablespoon of all this stuff, or extra all this stuff anyway. And then we're going to do 3 tablespoons of tamari, or this is gluten-free soy sauce. You can use regular soy sauce. You can use coconut aminos if you want to. If you don't want any soy, that works just as great too. So do about 3 tablespoons of that. And there we go. And then make sure okay, it's still filming. I'm worried about me, not the other way around. Getting it right getting everything working right the first time. So then we're gonna do the sesame oil, and that is 2 tablespoons of the sesame oil. Here we go. And this is all found, all these ingredients are found all locally, all of your, you know, the Good Earth, the Giants, the Harris Teeter, all that. So there's no problem with finding ingredients, that's for sure. So about 2 tablespoons of that. Then we're gonna do, for a little kick, some hot sauce. And we're gonna do about 2 teaspoons of that. Oop, there's my 2 teaspoons. Right there. And let me see. Oh, the garlic. We're gonna put in about 2 or 3 cloves of garlic, which you can just dump those right in because they're gonna get blended up. And then make sure I got the ginger, about, you can take fresh ginger. I usually do about 1 inch or so of grated ginger, and that just depends on, you know, if you want that little extra kick or not. You don't have to do the full amount, or you can use ginger powder if you want, if you don't have fresh ginger or can't find fresh ginger, but that's usually pretty readily available as well. nice root vegetable to have on hand. But I love ginger too because it's really good for if you have a tummy ache and soothing some digestive issues and things like that. So ginger is fantastic. You can always put some fresh ginger in your tea as well in the evening. I like to do that too. So I think that is it. Make sure I got all the ingredients in there. The ginger, the garlic, peanut butter, rice vinegar, tamari, sesame oil, hot sauce, and we are good to go. I want to make this a little bit creamier than what it will come out with blended as is. So I like to add a little bit of water in here, and that is kind of up to your preference. So I just did, a couple tablespoons. So blend that up. Actually, I want to make that creamier, so I'm going to add a little bit more water. Okay, it should be good. So the sauce is done. I can blend that up a little bit more too, actually. Okay, so sauce is done. Your dish is practically done. I am going to chop up a couple of little bit of green onion actually for topping. So you can go ahead and do that if you have it. You don't have to. This is just something that I like to garnish. I am not trained obviously in any type of culinary skill, so I know I'm not doing that properly, but it gets the job done. So all right, you're done. So go ahead and pour that over top of your. You can just do a little bit to start. You don't have to do the full amount because taste it, see what you think, see if you want it to be a little bit creamier and get all that blended. The other thing is I like to make this a day prior to when I'm actually going to eat it because it tastes better the longer that it sets in the refrigerator. So be mindful of that. You don't have to do that, but that's generally what I like to do. This is also a great dish for, summer picnics and things like that where you want to eat a cold salad, and works really, really well, and everyone loves it. There's some zucchini, my middle of the zucchini got lost in there. So there you go, and I want to make a couple meals out of this, so I'm going to go ahead and zoodle up the rest of those after we're done. So once you're done, just garnish with some toasted sesame seeds. You don't have to buy them toasted. You can, I have a ton already actually that aren't, and I just toast them up in the skillet real quick, and that works just as well too. And then green onions, throw that on there, and you're done. And this is so good, and it's so pretty, and it tastes so good, and all these flavors they are perfect together. So, and like I said, the other great thing about this is you can add, you can subtract. If you don't like, if you don't want it to be too hot, then do 1 teaspoon of the hot sauce or none. You can play around with it and get it to the flavoring that you like, and that's what makes it so wonderful to eat animal-free food, because it's not only great for the animals, but it's great for you, and it's so versatile, and you can't go wrong. So one other thing I want to mention too, if you want to bulk this up and maybe use it as a dinner recipe and you want that pasta in there too, I do that a lot because I'm addicted to pasta and carbs, which is not a bad thing. So I will use some udon pasta sometimes. I'll also use these pad thai gluten-free pasta, brown rice noodles. They work just as well, so you can do whatever you want. So that is an option too, and you can make that all together and throw those into the refrigerator with this cold and just have a cold pasta salad with your zucchinis. That's great to do too if you don't have a spiralizer and you just want to cut up your vegetables and have some differences in texture and everything. So that is it. I think we're done. I hope you make it. I hope you enjoy, and I appreciate you guys tuning in and all of your support. So please follow us on the Southern Maryland Vegan Restaurant Week page, and I look forward to hopefully meeting you soon and getting together soon. So thanks a lot. Have a good one. Be well.